364. That's 07811 659 364. Serving the community, 102.5 EAVA FM.
Welcome and good evening to another Monday night with myself, Attraction Blazing Music, alongside of Veej tonight. And we're going to be talking to, I'll let VJ explain to you.
Okay. First of all, Attraction, it's been a little while, right? Since me and you have done a show together, right?
Yeah. You know, the last time we was talking to the NHS, weren't we?
NHS Leicester.
Yeah.
And we're back again.
Yeah.
It's just sad news that obviously the pandemic's happening, so we thought we'll bring the listeners something special for them.
Yeah.
So today, on today's special on EAVA FM, we've got Dr. Linda Browne from NHS Leicester, and we're going to be talking about the vaccination program, the COVID-19 vaccination program, and any questions or myths surrounding the vaccine there may be. So we've prepared our questions, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Because there's a lot of people in the community that have got a lot of questions around the vaccine and what the vaccine, anything about it. But rather than talking about it, we thought we'll bring somebody from NHS Leicester, right? That's what we do.
That's definitely what we do. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there want to know, still unsure about the vaccine.
So we're not gonna mess around today. We're gonna bring Dr. Linda Browne right into the mix right now. So here we go. Hi, Dr. Linda.
Hi, nice to see you all.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. It's nice to speak to you as well. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming along today and really kind of taking time out, because we know a lot of the GPs and doctors are very busy at the moment. So yeah, thank you for coming along. Okay.
No problem. Thanks for having me here this evening.
Okay. Just want to explain, Linda, about your role within what kind of practice you're doing currently?
Yeah, fine. So I am a GP, general practitioner, working in one of the local health centres in Leicester. So we're responsible for the health, the entire health of all the families who are registered with us. And we've got over 22,000 patients registered at our practice. So that's a lot of people to look after.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
You're doing fantastic work. That's good.
You're trying.
Right. Okay. So we're going to get right stuck in straight away, because this is really important for our communities out there, because there's a lot of questions surrounding the COVID-19 vaccination program in our city and in Leicestershire and Rutland. So there's a lot of concerns about news out there, within our communities about taking the vaccine, the coronavirus vaccine. There's certain rumors going around, the jabs contain alcohol or meat, or is altering patients' DNAs. Can you just clarify for us, Doctor, anything around this and about the ingredients within this and that,
Yes, quite happy to. Firstly, I'd say that there's a lot of publicly available information on this. So anything that I say here tonight, you should be able to look up quite easily to verify. But I'm quite happy to answer that question. And certainly I'd want to make sure that people from our community, they shouldn't worry about having the vaccine, because there are a lot of rumours out there that are fake. But firstly, if you were to look for yourself on the websites about what these contain, you'll find that they don't actually contain any animal products at all. So no animal products, that's doing the first one. Can they alter DNA? The answer to that is no. A lot of these are based on something called messenger RNA, which is, if you like, a recipe for how our cells can make the spike protein of coronavirus. And so that's what these vaccines are trying to do, helping our cells to actually make these spikes, and then our bodies then make antibodies against that. And the messenger RNA itself is very fragile. Once it's injected, it disappears within 2 or 3 days. And the cells do not have the wherewithal to absorb that messenger RNA into our own DNA. So it doesn't change our own DNA at all. And as for alcohol, it depends on which vaccine you're talking about, because there's not just one single COVID vaccine. There are, at the moment in the UK, we're using Pfizer, and we're also using AstraZeneca. So for Pfizer, there is no alcohol in that at all. And for AstraZeneca, there is in each 0.5 of a mil, that's the dose that they give to you, 5.5 mils of the vaccine. In that, there is 0.002 milligrams of ethanol. And that isn't enough to make any difference to anybody. And so because of that, it's really classed for all intents and purposes of being alcohol-free. And it's because of that that the leaders, all the religious leaders of all the various faith groups have said that's fine for the communities to use, because it is a medicine. It's something that's there designed to help you. And as such, it can be used by all aspects of our community. And it really does concern me that our BAME communities are less likely to take up the vaccine, because it's been shown that our groups are much more likely to be really seriously ill if we catch COVID and might even die from it. And so I think this is an opportunity where we have something that can help to save our lives. So really we should be encouraging one another to use it. And I'm really pleased. Sorry, go ahead.
In that, what you just saying a little while ago about you've got 5 different vaccines. So can people mix and change them and stuff like that?
No, at the moment, as I said, in the UK, we're using 2 of the vaccines which are available. There's the Pfizer one and there's the Oxford AstraZeneca. And so if you're given the Pfizer vaccine, then your second dose would still need to be the Pfizer vaccine. If you start out having the Oxford AstraZeneca one, then your second one would need to be the Oxford AstraZeneca one. You can't mix and match at the moment, though they are doing a bit of research to see if they are interchangeable. But for the moment, if you have one, you should have that for your second dose as well.
Okay.
Thank you for confirming that, because that was a major question within the community that we've been getting.
Okay.
So as you were saying, so just confirming that, Doctor, that there is no meat or any kind of, there's no alcohol in the Pfizer one, but there is this 0.0002 within the
AstraZeneca.
Yes. Yeah.
But all the main faith leaders in UK have said, look, it doesn't really mean anything, and
absolutely,
so that's another concern. But then.
Absolutely,
also
they're saying that it doesn't break any codes of any kind, because it's a medicine, and the amount we would just class as a trace, it really doesn't have any effect on you at all. And as I said, the Pfizer doesn't contain any at all, not even the slightest trace.
Okay.
So what are the vaccination facts?
Okay, so there's quite a few vaccination facts that I can share with you. But firstly, it's really difficult because most of us know that you'll get, Facebook, WhatsApp videos, all sorts of things that are being shared. And it can be really difficult to know what to believe and what not to believe. And some of them actually contain things which I would say are actually quite harmful to people if you just believe it without questioning. But what I would say it's important to pay attention to reliable and trusted sources. So I would direct people towards NHS Choices site, places like BBC, and you can rely on those because they can be challenged. They have to have information which is challengeable and that can be demonstrated to be true. And information changes all the time, but what they are meant to tell you is what is the best scientific information that's available right at this time. So you can hear rumors of things, but they may just simply be rumors. What you want is information that has been tried and tested to the best of our scientific knowledge at the moment. So I'd say look in trusted sources, and if you've got people that you know yourself that are medically trained and you're not sure, ask them, because there's every chance that they might know. Other information, I'd say that vaccines are actually approved by an independent body that's called the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or the MHRA. You'll hear that spoken about on the news.
Yeah.
And that is a body which has to verify what the pharmacological companies are telling them. So if Pfizer comes to them and says, this is what's in our vaccine, they don't just take what Pfizer wanted, they actually take the products and independently test them to see if they actually do contain what they say they contain. And the companies also have to give information to them, all their clinical data from the research that they've done. They have to submit all of their data to the MHRA, and they have statisticians to look at all the information, etc., so that they can actually verify that they really are safe. So all the vaccines that we're using in the UK at the moment, they've all been through clinical trials, which isn't just testing on humans. Before they get to human testing, they've done animal testing as well. And some of those, the information that they get from animal testing, we can use to know that it would also be safe in humans as well. So they've all been through the clinical trials. They've all met with the safety checks that they need to do. And it's not just vaccines that have to do these tests. It's the same as any tablet or medicine that we're prescribing. It all has to go through the same process. And so they have to meet certain strict standards, really, of safety and quality. And they also have to demonstrate that they're effective as well. And it's only once those have been demonstrated that they can actually be used in the general public.
Right.
Some other facts that might be useful for people to know is that you can't actually catch coronavirus from the vaccine. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, if you have the vaccine, you can catch coronavirus. That isn't actually true. There's no whole coronavirus in these vaccines at all. It's all synthetically made, and you can't therefore catch COVID-19 from the vaccines. Other things that we've heard about, you know, does it contain egg? No, there's absolutely no egg in these at all. Can you be tracked? You know, if once you've had the vaccine, can somebody track you? The answer to that is definitely no. There's no chips or tracking devices. I mean, I think one of the things that might have caused some confusion, that people have heard of a phrase that's called nanoparticles. Nanoparticles is simply related to the size of the particles in the vaccine. It's got nothing to do with computer chips. Nano is just a measurement of size. So there's no tracking devices in them. There's also no evidence that they can cause infertility, because a lot of people I know have been really worried about that.
Yes, a lot of questions have been coming to the station about infertility.
Absolutely, yeah. And it is true that you know, it's a new vaccine, but they have been used in animal models, and the good thing about using animal models before you get to humans is that you can observe them across the whole of their lifetime. So you can observe the effects from when these animals are young to the equivalent of their teens and adulthood and their reproductive life as well. So if you know how rapidly mice, for instance, would usually reproduce, and if you give them the vaccines and they continue to reproduce at the same rate, then you know then in humans it's likely to be the same. Ever since things like thalidomide, it's not really thought to be ethical to do tests and trials on pregnant women. But in these trials that have been done on the vaccines, there have been women who have fallen pregnant while they've been in the trials, and they've gone on to have, you know, their successful pregnancies, etc. So there's a lot that we do learn from animal studies that can be transferable to humans as well.
There's another question that brings concern as well. With, I think it's with the Pfizer, you know, having to be done under a certain temperature.
Oh yes,
that's kind of worrying for people as well. You know?
Okay, well, I can explain to that. Well, as I mentioned before, messenger RNA is very fragile. Remember when I said once it's injected into the body, within 2 or 3 days, it disintegrates?
Yeah.
One of the reasons that it has to be frozen is to maintain the integrity of that messenger RNA. So once it's made and developed in the laboratory, they freeze it. So during transport, it can't be disrupted and disintegrated. So by the time it gets to you, once it's been defrosted and then very carefully mixed and then injected, it is still intact and still will work. Whereas if you didn't freeze it, there'd be a risk that, in the jolting of it being transported, that it could be broken down and then it wouldn't work. And then what would be the point of that? So that's why that particular one has to be frozen. But not all of the vaccines have to go through the same process. So for instance, AstraZeneca doesn't have to be frozen to such sub-zero temperatures. That can be kept in an ordinary fridge, and that one is still okay. But the Pfizer one and I think the Moderna one are different.
Okay.
But in terms of this freezing process and being transported around the UK and abroad, etc., we're more concerned about UK. I know that's and Leicester is our concern because that's our remit currently right now. Is the process, are we using more of the Pfizer vaccine here in Leicester, or is it more of
the Oxford?
Oxford?
Yeah, the Oxford.
Or is there a mixture
I would
of
say
both?
there's a mixture of both. I mean, both are available, but in terms of what we can give, I think the stores are coming through much more freely of Oxford AstraZeneca at the moment than they are of the Pfizer vaccine. Remember, there's certain amounts which are in the UK and being produced in the UK, but a lot of it is being produced outside of the UK. And so we're dependent on whatever supplies come here before it can be distributed and used locally in Leicester. So at the moment, I'd say the majority of the new stock that's coming through is actually the Oxford AstraZeneca.
Okay, that's the kind of feedback we've been getting from the community as well. That a lot of the community are taking it's been the Oxford AstraZeneca one.
Yeah,
I've had family members within Leicester that have been every time they've been booked in for the vaccine, they've been taking that one. Thank
just the thing is, whichever one you're offered, I would just encourage you to have whatever you're given, because they're all safe. So whether it's the Pfizer vaccine, whether it's the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, they're safe. And I'd just like to encourage people that just remind you that there's a difference between safety and side effects. I can have a vaccine. In fact, I've had the vaccine and I can say my arm was sore maybe for a day or two. I had a little bit of a headache. I had a little bit of a headache. But then after 2 days, it was all gone. Now, the fact that I had soreness to me doesn't indicate that it's not safe. It gave me a bit of a side effect, but it's still safe to use. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Be afraid to say, that it has side effects, therefore it can't be safe. Pretty much any tablet or medicine that you have may have side effects. If you look on the sheet, if you get a box of paracetamol and you look at the leaflet that's in it, it'll tell you that there's side effects potentially of those. Anything that we use might have a side effect, but it doesn't mean it's not safe. And there's lots of things with these medicines, especially with the new, any new medicine and the vaccines that we're having now. There's a system called the yellow card system, which people have been encouraged that if you do have a side effect, you're meant to report it back, because these vaccines are new. And as with any other new medicine, there's a system that the MHRA are saying, if you do notice any side effects that you think could be related to the vaccine, please report it back, because the more information that is reported back, that's the more information that's given to us that we can understand what the side effects and how they may affect people. So at the moment in the UK, I think we're well over 23 million people now that have been vaccinated. I don't know what the numbers are locally in Leicester, but out of millions of people, if you can get thousands of people reporting back, well, this is what happened to me, this is what happened to me, then it gives a much clearer picture for most people then of what they might expect in terms of side effects. Remember, there'll be some which will affect pretty much everybody. There'll be some which might affect 1 in 100, some which might affect 1 in 10,000. But until we get that information back, we're not going
and this
to
is called the yellow card.
most of us are seeking. Yellow card reports. That's right.
Okay. Is there any stats come back? Is there any stats come back? I know I'm kind of asking it, but since we're on this topic of side effects, is there any statistics available in the UK from this yellow card reporting? That has there been any side effects to people living in UK? Is there anything there?
Absolutely, yes. And this information is freely available on the government website. If you search for, if you put in something like MHRA card weekly reports, you'll be able to navigate to a site where it actually, let me just see, because I've got it here. It gives you a full analysis of all the data that they're receiving back from these yellow card reports. And it goes through lots of different things that you can see there. And, it can be really difficult with any medicine to know what is actually a side effect from that medicine and what things might have happened anyway. You might have heard in the news that there have been reports of things like possible links with blood clots and things like that. If you think about it, every day around the world, there are people every day that are having strokes, heart attacks, blood clots, all sorts of things happening to them in terms of their health. How do you know with confidence, if you give somebody a vaccine, which of those things that might happen anyway are actually going to be due to the vaccine or were things that were going to happen anyway? It can be really difficult to distinguish that. But it's all about information gathering. If we expect as a medical community that, for instance, 100 blood clots might happen in Leicester in a week, and if we vaccinate people in Leicester and notice that 500 blood clots have happened, then we think, is that an effect of the vaccine? Now, I'm just picking that out of the blue as an example. That hasn't actually happened.
Of course.
I know. Yeah, we know what you're saying.
You need a lot of information to be reported back to say, well, actually, this seems to be making a difference to our population in this way, that we've noticed there's more of this happening since we've been doing the vaccinations. That's why information is key. Everything that happens, really important that it's reported back, because all that information is looked at and it's checked to see whether it's statistically significant or not.
No, Linda, that is so good. Because one of the biggest questions we are getting call-ins from and people writing, emailing us at the station is, what is the side effects from taking the vaccine?
Definitely.
That's the biggest thing. And now you've reported and you've kind of clarified that there's this yellow card system that if people do have a side effects, they can report this, the yellow card, and people can search this. And this is public information. So, and to be honest, I know I think it's in Leicester, some of the reports that we've had as a radio station, it's over 300,000, maybe 350,000 people in Leicestershire have taken the vaccine. We've not heard of any reports of major side effects or life-threatening side effects or people passing away due to the I think it's really clear that people understand that.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, Linda?
Sorry, you just I missed you for a little bit of what you were saying just now. I don't know what happened.
No problem. I was just saying thank you for clarifying about the yellow card. And then Attraction just said
have you got anything to add to
that? Just to say yes. Did you want me to give you a little bit in terms of figures of side effects that have been reported back? Okay. Yeah. So
you have that, Linda. Wow.
It's available on the government website.
I didn't expect to put you in that, Because I know it's so soon that the vaccine people have taken the vaccine, and to have figures so instantly, I think that's great. If you've got that, I think if you've got that, that will help our communities kind of say, you know what, it's safe or it's not safe. You know, they can make a better judgment. And I think from what you're saying, it's definitely safe.
It is available. Yeah, it's safe. If I can just give you what some of the common side effects, and this is all from information that's been reported back. So let me see, which one am I looking at? I'm looking at the moment at the Pfizer, and common side effects, with ones affecting 1 in 10 people, is pain at the injection site, tiredness, headaches, muscle pain, chills, joint pain, and fever.
Right.
Common effects that may affect up to 1 in 10 people is, again, injection site swelling or redness at the injection site or nausea. And less common, that might affect 1 in 100 people, is swollen lymph glands and maybe feeling unwell. So those are types of things that have been reported back for Pfizer, and it's very similar to AstraZeneca as well. And what you'll find with any medicine are reported back are the ones that are most common. Things that are rarer don't tend to be advertised as much because it's less likely to affect people. If something's happening 1 in every 10,000 people, it's almost, it wouldn't be mentioned as much because only 1 in 10,000 people might get that particular side effect.
Just so you're aware, at every half an hour, we have our live commercials going out, our live PSAs going out. So at 6:30, they'll be going out. So just so you're aware, there's about just over 45 seconds left, and then we're going to go into our commercial. But we're definitely going to be coming back, you know. So yeah,
that's fine.
Thank you so much. That was our biggest question regarding side effects. But I didn't know if the information was out there or not out there. And I think that is what most people have the concern for within our communities, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for the yellow card and just clarifying that it's out there. People can kind of report what's happening out there as well. We've literally got 10 seconds. We're going to go into a break. So people, please stay locked into EAVA FM 102.5. We're going to be coming back straight after this short break. We will see you on the other side with Attraction Blazing Music and myself, Veej, here.
EAVA. Sharing the richness of cultures. This is EAVA FM.
Every front door unopened, every trip unmade, every overtapped snooze button, every commute from bedroom to kitchen table, every click, every call, every meeting. Everyone who can and does work from home is helping stop the spread of Covid-19, because the less we leave home, the less likely we'll come into contact with the virus. Everything we're doing is making a difference. Let's keep going. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives.
Serving the community. 102.5 EAVA FM.
Everyone's staying in. Everyone getting on. Most of the time. Every extra thing we're having to do, every plan we put on hold, every sacrifice we're making. Everyone who stays at home is helping stop the spread of COVID-19. The less we leave home, less likely we'll come into contact with the virus. Everything we're doing is making a difference. Keep going. Stay home. Protect the NHS. Save lives.
Serving the community 24 hours a day. EAVA FM.
Strong woman in my life, yo. Want a woman where go keep me happy day and night, yo. Strong woman in my life, yo. We don't want no warmonger, we don't want no switch by my side. Yeah, when I jam on, you don't know, so right now you're in tune to EAVA FM 102.5. Boom!
Everyone's staying in. Everyone getting on, most of the time. Every extra thing we're having to do, every plan we've put on hold, every sacrifice we're making. Everyone who stays at home is helping stop the spread of COVID-19, because the less we leave home, the less likely we'll come into contact with the virus. Everything we're doing is making a difference. Let's keep going. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives.
English, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, Chinese, South African, Sri Lankan, Polish, Somali, French, West African, Arabic, Swahili, the voice of Leicester. This is EAVA FM.
EAVA FM is a multilingual radio station serving the diverse communities of Leicester on 102.5 FM. For advertising and sponsorship, email sales@eavafm.com or call 07811 659 364. That's 07811 659 364. Serving the community, 102.5 EAVA FM.
Meeting you back on the opposite side of those, and we're with our special guest Linda. And we're talking about the vaccines right now. Now I know that everybody's been getting the vaccination, by age. Now are the young people are gonna get this vaccine as well? I mean, the young people that's going back to school and stuff like that.
Well, yes, the reason that they've been doing it by age at the moment is because in terms of all the deaths that we've had, and unfortunately we've had, as you've seen on television, over 100,000 deaths in the UK. What has been observed is that the majority of those who have died have generally been of an older age group. And because we were limited in the stocks of vaccine that we've had in a country, the situation has been that unfortunately we've had to try and use it where it would have the most effect in terms of preventing deaths. And that at the moment was with the older age group. So that's why we started with the over 85s, over 80s, and we've gradually gone down. It's gone down in age priority, but also underlying condition priority as well. So in group 4 of the priority groups, we also added not just people of that age group, but people who were deemed to be clinically extremely vulnerable. So those are conditions like cancers, people on chemotherapy, people who had conditions that made them particularly susceptible to complications if they were to catch COVID. But also in the group 6, it's people who were full-time carers, as well as people who had other conditions as well. Now, in terms of children, generally, if you're under the age of 30 even, your risks, even if you were to catch COVID, your risk of getting very severe disease and dying is very, very small. And so particularly in children, if a child was to catch COVID, their risk of being extremely ill and dying is incredibly small. So that's why children have been left out of the vaccine program. And the vaccines that we're using at the moment have only been authorized for use in age 16 and above. So school children at the moment will not be receiving the vaccine because the vaccines have not been licensed they're not licensed, they've been authorized for use, emergency authorization for use in this country, but not below the age of 16.
Right.
Pfizer has been authorized for 16 to 18. AstraZeneca is from age 18 and above, but not for school age children.
Okay, you've answered that question because I was going to ask you about, how low is the age before they cannot take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so just want to move on. We've got a question, and somebody's kind of asked this on our Facebook feed, and some of the no, actually, this one's come from our YouTube feed. In fact, and they're asking, is there a situation where somebody should not take the vaccine, i.e. due to their medical conditions such as high blood pressure? Does it matter what time of day the vaccine is administered or anything like that? Or any medical illness? Is there any reason why somebody should not take the vaccine?
Okay, so in terms of, is there a time of day, does it matter what time of day? I'd say no, it doesn't matter what time of day the vaccine is administered. Is there any situation where you shouldn't take the vaccine? Really, the only situations where you'd be advised not to take the vaccine is if you have had a proven allergic reaction to any of the constituents of the vaccine. So if you know that and again, the vaccine contents are available, public information. You can look on the list. It's called a list of excipients, and it tells you all the various ingredients of the vaccine. And if you are known to be allergic to any of those, that would be the only reason why you shouldn't take the vaccine.
Right.
And the good thing is that there isn't just one COVID vaccine. At the moment in the UK, we've got two. And you may recall when we first started doing the vaccinations that there was a fuss about anaphylaxis with the Pfizer vaccine. And for a moment, they temporarily stopped giving Pfizer to anybody that had any sort of allergic reaction, just because obviously we want to do this safely. And so they stopped it initially until they were able to have a look at the information in a bit more detail. But eventually what they decided was that it's only people that have had allergies where the cause of the allergic reaction wasn't known, then those people should avoid using the Pfizer vaccine, but they could use the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Okay. So there are no current, with the information that we currently have, there are no conditions that would say that you shouldn't have the vaccine, as in, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease. There's nothing like that that would stop you from having the vaccine. The only things would be if you have a definite allergy to any of the contents of the vaccine. That's the only thing.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. And another question, this is coming directly from the community right now, because as you're aware, many community members from our community have a lot of these medical illnesses. And for them, they're really worried about this, having these illnesses and then they're on medication already. And they're always worried that if we take more medication, we're going to have this cocktail of mixture of medication. And is it going to have an effect? And you've just clarified, no, it's only for allergy or allergic reactions from vaccines that you would not take the vaccine. But however, we do have two, so it'll be very unlikely that you could be allergic to both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Linda, are we expecting, you say that we've got two in the UK. Is there going to be another one on its way to the UK as well?
I would have thought so, yes. There are so many different pharmaceutical companies all around the world who want to be a part of helping out with this, as you can imagine. So certainly on the horizon, you will have heard of Moderna vaccine, you will have heard of Johnson & Johnson vaccine, possibly. I think there's going to be quite a lot of different companies that will be trying to, send their vaccines our way. But at the moment, the UK government is mainly, they've put orders mainly for Pfizer and Oxford AstraZeneca. I think Moderna as well. And I think pretty much anyone that comes to the market, they will try and get hold of some of it, because the more that we can get, the more ability it gives us to vaccinate the whole population. Anybody that wants it should be able to get it, basically.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Linda, for joining us today. I think that you've answered all our questions. You've answered everything, and you've answered it in a fantastic way as well, and very clear. And you've not gone very. I knew this was going to be like a technical kind of interview, but you didn't come across that way. You told us in simple. You told us in English that everyone would understand, and just so the listeners know, the video will be there on our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel. We won't be removing this. It'll be there for information for everyone. And I think you mentioned this, that go to people for advice or information within the medical or have been trained. So how long have you been practicing medicine for now?
Dear, now you're asking. I've been a doctor for over 30 years.
Wow. 30 years experience. Okay.
Yeah, I qualified in 1990, so you can work that out yourselves.
Wow. So and that's great for the listeners to kind of know this and kind of say, hang on, a lot of people were asking us, EAVA FM, the questions about various, and they always ask me, VJ, you're on radio, go and find out. They always go Attraction, right?
You're
the media man. You're the media man.
It's the same thing for myself.
Yeah.
Everybody's always saying, the vaccine contains this, and can you find out if the vaccine is safe to take? And you know how it is,
Yes, absolutely.
So me and Attraction said, this was set out. We set out our agenda, and we said we're going to let the horse's mouth tell everyone, not nobody else, not a YouTube video. We're not going to get some blogger. We're not going to get some memes out there.
Yeah,
We're going to get the NHS Leicester to talk about this, and especially you mentioned the side effects issue. You know, everything around it. Who should not take it? We talked about other medical conditions. So thank you so much. Is there anywhere to find any more information around the vaccine?
Yes, there's lots of really good sites that you can go to. As I said, I would probably send you in the direction of NHS Choices to start with. But also, if you can go to www.nhs.uk/COVID-vaccination. That's www.nhs.uk/COVID-vaccination.
Thank you.
And that would actually, that's if you're interested in actually booking a vaccine, that would be useful for that. But for more general information, there's the Leicester City CCG website, and that is www.leicestercityccg.nhs.uk. Do you want me to repeat that?
No, I'll mention it again. Me and Attraction will mention it. But www.leicestercityccg.nhs.uk.
That's right, and that's useful because there's even videos in different languages, lots of information there that's available for people to have a look at on that particular website.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to go a little bit off topic, but it is very relevant. A lot of people have access to the web, Google searches. Why is it important to go to official NHS websites rather than other websites on the web or Google searches?
Yeah, very good.
Why is it important? I want to hear it from you, Doctor. Why is it important?
Okay. I would say because we have to provide information that is evidence-based. By evidence-based, I mean it has to be able to be backed up by research, whatever we know that is current coming out of scientific research these days. The problem with your forwarded many times WhatsApp video is that you can't get to the source of where that information comes from to be able to verify it. So you can have people that say, so I had a glass of water every day since the start of the pandemic, and I have not caught COVID-19. Now, does that mean that drinking a glass of water every day is going to prevent you from catching COVID-19? Or does it mean that that person, you know, they've socially distanced, they've been washing their hands, wearing face masks, they've had their vaccine, and it's actually that stopped them from catching COVID-19? You have to be able to go to research that is verifiable, and it can be done by other research teams as well, and they get the same results. That's the level of information that's put on NHS websites. It's information that can be verified, which is very different from, you know, some bod who claims to have a PhD and will say, well, this is what I think about COVID-19. You don't have the opportunity to question them and to find out where that information has come from and whether not just he thinks it, but do thousands of other scientists around the world think it as well. Is it something that is common knowledge to the scientific community, or is it just one rogue person spouting off their own ideas? Whereas if you come to somewhere like either the BBC or the NHS, they have to be able to give you where their information has come from and how it's been verified. And that's why I'd encourage people to use those sort of reputable sites rather than just Googling and finding which guru wants to give you their particular point of view. And, you know, somebody says, if there's something wrong with my car, I would take it to a qualified mechanic. I wouldn't take it to my mate down the road who thinks he knows about cars and has an opinion on how to fix my car. I'll go to somebody who is properly qualified to do so. A lot of these videos that you see, you know, I've seen some where it's been an obstetrician giving you their opinion. I've seen some where it's been, you know, a PhD doctor whose actual area of expertise was A&E medicine. It's got nothing at all to do with virology or immunology or how viruses infect us. Be very careful about people who you're listening to and what their qualifications are and where they get their information from. We say go to these NHS websites because we know that the information there should be verified. Whereas some of these other things that you get, that they can say anything and they've generally not got anybody challenging them on that information. So they can say what they want and it's not necessarily true.
That's absolutely brilliant. I'm just saying that this is something which myself, I know Attraction does it all the time. We do it all the time on all our shows. And a lot of people ask us, something's not right, let's do a quick Google search or whatever it is, and we're like, no, look, you have to stick to the NHS website, and if it's not NHS verified, it's something which we shouldn't be taking for granted. I think we've got to be honest with ourselves, and I think safety comes first. Our health is our wealth. Definitely. But thank you so much, Linda, Dr. Linda, coming along today. You can definitely, please do let us know any free time you want to come and talk to us on EAVA FM. You're more than welcome back. and we can open up the questions. And it was great because we can open up the questions to the community. Our community need people like us
yourself.
To do that.
Like yourself and give people information
and talk to them. And then there is no one can turn around and say, hang on, nobody from our community is coming on air to talk about it. No one's coming to the community, and hence this is what we've done. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been really great. Thanks. I'm just happy to be able to help and really help to dispel some of the myths which are out there, because we shouldn't be afraid as a community. We're at risks. We should almost be at the front of the queue for the vaccine at the moment. We need to protect ourselves and not just don't let people take away what you could have in terms of safety.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so
much.
Very
good point. Very good point.
Okay. So, Attraction, what did you think of that?
Well, you know something? She has surprised me.
Surprised you?
She has surprised me. And I'll tell you the reason why I say that. Because when you talk to certain people and she weren't faffing, she knew exactly what she was saying.
Absolutely. Straight to the point.
And
it was in great, the language was great so everyone could understand
it. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
The mention in the questions, really loved how the people could just ask a question regarding, is it safe? Is it not safe? What the ingredients are. And I think
I think what it is as well, I had to ask her about the freezing process.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of people out there, that was the main talking point. How can you have something that is frozen going into your body? Things like that. You might think it's a silly question, but it's not. Because the information of the process of the vaccine, of the Pfizer, was like that.
Yes.
So it was big concern to a lot of people,
Yeah, absolutely. Attraction.
But then also as well, there is the theory about certain people wanting to cut population as well. That played a part of it as well.
And I think Dr. Linda mentioned all of this and removed a lot of the myths. So fantastic. We're going to hopefully very soon we might have another person. I know Attraction. So we've done our bit for the community. So when people, please do, listeners, keep emailing us, messaging us. If you know our presenters, ask them. If you know Attraction, to ask Attraction anytime.
Even ask me as well.
And then we can get the experts in and really tell you the truth about what is what. What is what.
Because something, we're human race.
Yeah.
And we always want the truth.
The truth.
Basic people want the truth, So this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Bringing a professional doctor in to ask.
30 years experience.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Attraction. So I know your show 7 o'clock onwards. What you got planned for us?
Well, you know what? I'm planning something in the pipeline.
Okay.
You know what I mean, for my EVA listeners. And I'm trying to bring artists to do a an acoustic session.
That's it. Right, we're going to go off live. We're going to go off the live platform, and then we're going to talk about this. Remember, people, stay locked in, stay locked on. Attraction Blazing Music will be here till
whenever.
10, 11. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to say goodbye to everyone on the live stream. So here we go. Bye. 102.5 EAVA FM.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out the information about the vaccine as well.